We make it available for free. So in some ways, it's kind of a brand play, like we're just reaching an audience, but we are very strategic about it. I mean, we talk about it on social media. We publish the recordings on YouTube. So we have those opportunities to bring in traffic. Our specialty is resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization. We want to have sessions on those topics, and we want them to be very tactical, very practical. So we are the company they go to for answers and for solutions.
Welcome to Business Ninjas, brought to you by WriteForMe, where you'll hear from business leaders who are out there growing their business and slaying it every day. Learn from the masters. Let's get started.
Let's dive in. All right. Sydney, thanks for joining us today on Business Ninjas. It's great to have you on the show. We're looking forward to learning a lot about JobScan. So, maybe we could start by having you tell us where the company's located, what the website is, and what your role is there.
Sure. So it's JobScan. The website's jobscan.co. We're actually based in Seattle, Washington, but honestly, we're fully remote. So I'm in Texas. My boss, our head of marketing, is in Canada. We have employees all over the country, all over the globe, really. And so we're completely fully remote. I'm the content marketing manager, so I'm on the marketing team, but I manage our content marketing strategy, the content editorial process, and that funnel within the larger marketing funnel.
Great. Okay. Perfect. And maybe you can give us a little bit of background about what your career arc has been to bring you to the present opportunity.
I actually started as a content creator. So my first job when I was 17, I think, I was a graphics designer, and then eventually became a writer and video editor. I worked for a technology blog, and so we did smartphone reviews. We would do video reviews, and I would do written content too. And then I started my own media companies after that. I started a YouTube channel that grew to 100,000 subscribers and 20 million views within a couple of years. So I got that experience of creating that content that was like what it took to create engaging content that people really loved and connected with and would come back to. That was our big thing at the tech blog, was that it couldn't just be random technology videos. Like, they really needed to connect with us as people. So I learned a lot of those principles of content creation, content strategy, audience building. And I did that, content creation for a few years. And then I made a career change into marketing. And content marketing was just really the perfect fit. Being a content creator, I already understood all of those principles, how to create engaging content. Now it was just with the purpose of bringing people in so that I could show them this cool product or this cool tool. So it was a perfect fit. I've been doing that for about 5 or 6 years now. Going into 2023, it'll be about 6 years. I love it. I love marketing in general, but content marketing, I really enjoy. It just fits what I love doing and what I have good instincts with. And now I'm here at JobScan again as the content marketing manager.
That's great. That's like the literal organic arc of getting to this spot. Yeah. That's really cool. Yeah. And maybe you can give everybody that doesn't know sort of the elevator pitch, the high level value proposition for JobScan, so we could level set on that.
JobScan is really, it's like the ultimate tool for job seekers. Our elevator pitch would go like this. So a lot of people, when they're looking for a job, they don't get enough interviews, even though they're applying for dozens or sometimes hundreds of jobs. And so JobScan offers tools that help people to optimize their job search collateral so that they can get more interviews. So we have a resume scanner. We help people to optimize their resume, their cover letter, their LinkedIn profile. We help people to track and manage their job search. We help people find jobs that are a better fit for them personally based on their skills. It's the all-in-one tool to not just build a resume, like there's a lot of resume builders out there, but really to optimize your resume to actually get results and get more job interviews.
Okay, interesting. And are there specific maybe industries that you have more traction in, or is this like across the board?
I mean, really, our audience would be any job seeker. but like we've found that a lot of the people that use our tool, or at least in terms of content marketing, our audience is more focused on those who are kind of well established in their careers. They might be making a career change, but they're not new in their career. They have years of experience, and so they kind of their resume is pretty robust, but they need to know, how do I explain my experience? How do I talk about my experience? I have so much experience. What do I focus on? For them, resume optimization is a bigger project than like an entry level person. There's not a lot there to optimize. So our audience kind of skews more in that direction, but really any job seeker would benefit from using a tool like JobScan.
Right. Wow. So it almost sounds like content creation in and of itself, right? Like, how do you tell your story as an individual? How best to do that?
Honestly, like in terms of a niche, it's less about the people and more about the activity that they're doing, because like every job seeker has a resume. They all want to write a resume, but there's a smaller niche of people that understand optimization, or that understands that are like they're going after a really competitive job, and so they need to really shine on their resume. So it's less about like the people and more about what they want to do. Like we really help them to write the best resume possible.
Wow. Okay. And what was the origin story for the company? How did what was the spark of inspiration that got everything off the ground?
It's pretty cool, actually. So JobScan was started by our CEO, James Hugh. He was laid off from his job at Microsoft and was going through the job search process just like everyone else and applying for tons of jobs and just not getting any results. And so he kind of stumbled into this idea of like, okay, this is really competitive. I need to take it to the next level. I need to really optimize my resume. He started learning more about applicant tracking systems, which is what companies use to track and manage job candidates as they come in. So he learned more about the technology that they use. And then so he got into the idea of tailoring the resume or his resume for every job that he was applying for. Instead of just, back in the day, like you would just have your one paper resume, you go to the office, you give it to the hiring manager, and that's how it worked. Nowadays, it's just not like that. And so he started going through that process of tailoring his resume for every single job he applied for. And it just took a long time. It takes a lot of time to do that. So he built this tool like from the ground up. I don't even know what coding or whatever was involved, but he built the whole thing mostly for himself, but he made it available to just anyone that would want to use it. And people used it and it started growing and getting more users. And it's just kind of grown from there. It's been totally organic. We haven't had any outside funding or investors. It's just been purely the tool being useful and actually helping people. And that was, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. And it's still just growing organically.
Wow, what a great story. And so circling back, you said that the company's remote. Were you remote like from the jump? Everybody was remote like pre-COVID?
No, I think COVID probably changed all of that. We used to have an office actually in Washington. But yeah, I think it was like we moved into the really nice office and then COVID hit. And so I don't think we ever actually got to use the office very much. And then eventually the CEO just had to cut his losses and pay some like crazy fine to get out of the lease. But we didn't start out remote. It was more just a product of COVID. Right.
And so how was that experience? I would imagine that, the nature of jobs changed a lot during the COVID era, and that you had your own challenges, not only on the company level, but then maybe looking at a changing job market. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what it was like navigating that era for the company and what changes you saw.
Yeah, COVID was, it was a good opportunity for JobScan because a lot of people needed a job. And I'm really impressed and proud of the way that we took advantage of that, because this was actually before I was here that this initiative was started, but I've continued it since joining. As a business, there's a lot of ways that you could take advantage of a situation and make it work for you. But the way that the team did it was they launched a week-long virtual summit, basically a webinar series for job seekers. And it was free. They made it available completely free. They brought in job search experts, career coaches, and just anybody that could offer that expert advice on how to optimize your resume, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile or use LinkedIn to get more jobs. It was a week long. I think the first one was maybe like 15 sessions or something. And they made it available to people for free. And so it was a way that we could reach people and help them in this like really crazy time where nobody knew what to do. But it was also a way for us to tell them about JobScan and how we can help, and kind of explain to them what resume optimization is and why you need to be doing this. And by the way, we have a tool that will help you and that will make it a lot easier. And so that was big for us. COVID in general, JobScan was able to help a lot of job seekers get jobs during that time. And then we've continued that initiative. So the virtual summit, we just had it actually this past month in November. It's called the No Fear Job Search Virtual Summit. And this year we had over 13,000 registrations for the sessions. And so it grew even from last year. So that was one way that we took kind of a really difficult, scary situation for the world, but also us as a company, but instead turn it into a positive and saw like, how can we use this to reach more people and help more people and still achieve our revenue goals too.
Right. Wow. So that's a lot of content you've created for people that's, I'm sure, been super useful. Where are you pushing it out for people to be able to see after the fact, and kind of what's the strategy around outreach for the company, across all of the channels that you and your role are looking at?
Yeah. So for that event, this year, so we make it available for free. So in some ways it's kind of a brand play, like we're just reaching an audience, but we are very strategic about it. I mean, we talk about it on social media, we publish the recordings on YouTube, so we have those opportunities to bring in traffic. But we also take advantage of the opportunity to really focus on a topic that is most relevant to what we do. So like, we don't want to get too top of the funnel with it. We don't want to just talk about getting an interview or your job search in general. We talked to the career coaches that we brought on and the recruiters that we brought on. And we said, like, our specialty is resume optimization, LinkedIn optimization. We want to have sessions on those topics, and we want them to be very tactical, very practical. So it's not that we don't want to inspire people, but we are the company they go to for answers and for solutions. So we kept the sessions very practical. We gave them practical tips, like this is what you need to do on your resume. And so by doing that, they're able to get into that mindset. Okay, this is the action that I need to take. Once they get into that mode of action, then they're ready for the tool that we have, for the solution that we have. And so that's how we kind of move them in this event from the top of the funnel all the way down to the bottom of the funnel through that content. And then we give them a promo code. So for attending, they get 20% off of JobScan Premium. And we track those promo code uses to get an estimate of the revenue, the lifetime revenue that we'll generate from that event. So that's like a microcosm of that. Our content marketing in general is the bread and butter of JobScan. It always has been. Our CEO had a really keen eye from the beginning of using content to bring in that organic search traffic to feed the top of the funnel. That's where most of our traffic comes from.
Right. All right. And what are the major social media channels where people can go to find the interesting stuff that you're putting out there?
Yeah, so like I said, organic search is really like our bread and butter. We are most active on LinkedIn, obviously being like the business social media network that makes the most sense for us. We have over 19,000 followers on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter and Facebook too, but it's really just about like going where the audience is. And I mean, like technically every job seeker is on every social network, but on LinkedIn, they're really ready for that information. They might not be looking for it, but they're more in that mindset. So LinkedIn is big for us. But really, like 2023, we probably want to get more into social media. We have a small team, so we kind of have to pick our bullseye targets, our bullseye strategies. And so social media just hasn't been our bullseye strategy. It's a lot of like organic search. But yeah, LinkedIn would probably be like the best, our most active social network.
Great. All right. Well, Sydney, thanks for coming on the show. We've learned a ton today. It's going to be fun to watch the company grow in 2023, and we really appreciate you stopping by.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You bet.